Hey guys, Captain Liam Locke here on Liam Locke Gaming, sitting on the flight deck of this Airbus A321 in beautiful Madrid, Spain. I just wanted to introduce the second leg of my journey to Madrid and tell you that I hope you enjoy this presentation of how not to arrive at your destination. There are plenty of perfect videos out there on how to fly a flawless approach, however, this isn't one of them. I'm a little new to the flight sim party, and I'm working hard to learn the ins and outs of flying this Airbus jetliner, and I certainly don't have it mastered yet, but I'm getting better every flight. Kudos to the real pilots who make this look so easy. This video certainly demonstrates how inexperience can and will get you and your passengers dead on arrival. Hope you enjoy. Hey, welcome back to Liam Locke Gaming. I'm Liam Locke, and we are in the second part of our journey from Lisbon Portela Airport, Portugal to Madrid Barajas International Airport in Spain. We are at our cruising altitude of 25,000 feet, and we are just under 200 nautical miles from the airport. We are working with ATC, flying the Airbus A321, and we are waiting for our guidance into the airport. Now we're a little ways out. A couple things we need to check here real quick before we get guidance from ATC. Now, one thing to note, when we set up our flight management guidance system with our flight plan to begin with, our flight plan had a star in it. We didn't know what runway we're going to be assigned by ATC. We still don't have that information. So I have a flight plan to discontinuity. If we take a quick look at the flight plan, you'll see that I'm rapidly approaching my last VOR, ZMR. It's not likely that I'm going to have my runway assignment before I cross ZMR, and when that occurs, what will happen is the plane will continue on the heading that it's traveling on our current navigation plan at that point. And when that occurs, we'll just basically fly in a straight line until ATC interjects and says, hey, you need to adjust course, and they'll start to direct us towards the airport. Well, I don't want that to happen, so rather than wait for us to cross ZMR and enter this discontinuity state, I'm going to say from ZMR, we're just going to go direct to the airport. One way I can do that is to just say fly direct to the airport, or I should be able at this point just to click the clear button on the MCDU. You'll see the CLR comes up in the bottom, and I'm just going to clear the unknown waypoints between ZMR and our final destination. It accepted that, so it took it out, and now I can just insert this. So now what's going to happen is from ZMR, we're going to fly a straight shot straight to the airport. As it turns out, that's what FSX has programmed in for us as well. If we were to go out and look at the flight plan map, we look at the map inside FSX, and we track ahead here to ZMR. You'll see ZMR, and I'll zoom out just a little bit. So from ZMR, our flight plan, according to FSX, has us going straight to the airport. So this is good. When we get to the ZMR VOR, we'll hang a right, and we will start heading straight towards the airport, which will keep ATC off our backs until we get close enough that they're ready to start vectoring us into the runway. So that's all I'm doing there. We are at flight level 25,000 feet, flying at about 320 knots, just a little bit over. I've been periodically checking the ECAM pages. Everything is good to go. Flight plan shows us 175 nautical miles from the airport. We are going to need to descend here fairly soon to get down to our approach altitude. And I've pulled up the airport information, so once we get our runway, we can figure out what our minimum is going to be depending on the runway that we get assigned. I'll just bring that over here to the side. We'll continue our flight in. We do need to periodically spot check our navigation. So if you look down here, we are currently heading towards, VOR ZMR, which is directly ahead of us at 5655 nautical miles away. And we can look over here and confirm that we have the same information. So for VOR 1, 54.5 right now, straight ahead. And then we have VOR PRT, which is actually behind us, directly behind us, at 85 nautical miles, and we see similar reading over here on this instrument, so navigation appears to be good to go. And as far as our aircraft in relationship to our flight plan and this green line, our navigation line, we can go down and look at the flight management guidance system and bring up program and see that in order for us to be high accuracy, we need to be within 2.1 nautical mile of our planned route, which we are. We're within 0.09 nautical miles, so we have high accuracy from GPS. So good to go there. I have a tendency, especially when we get closer to landing time, to lose sight of my checklist, and you can't do that. You've got to stay on top of that checklist because it is just so easy to miss an item here or there. At this point, there's not much else for me to do right now. I'm just waiting on guidance from ATC to start our descent, and then we'll go through our descent preparation. Based off the information they give us. Go down here and just scroll through our decam pages real quick. So we're burning through our oil, but we still have plenty of oil left. Not a problem. Everything's in the green. Still carrying 4.7 metric tons of fuel. Should have more than enough fuel to get to our destination.
Bravo Delta 823 Heavy. Contact Madrid Center on 118.275. Going to 118.275. Bravo Delta 823 Heavy. Madrid Center, Bravo Delta 823 Heavy, with you at flight level 250. Bravo Delta 823 Heavy, Madrid Center, roger.
Our bleed is good. We're getting bleed from the engines, so our air conditioning in the cockpit and cabins is working well. Our cabin pressure is good to go. No airs, no red. Electrical coming from the engines is good to go. No issues there. Hydraulic system, everything's intact. We have good pressure across all three hydraulic systems. Current fuel is in the wings only. We don't have any fuel in the center tank. And it brings up kind of an interesting question that I don't have a good answer for, and that is the fuel pumps on the center tank. I wonder if they have an auto shutoff, because I'm not sure why we would be running fuel pumps on the center tank without having fuel in it. Maybe somebody can clarify that for me. APU is off. Cabin conditioning looks to be good. All doors are secured as expected. No issues with wheel temperatures because obviously the gear is up. Flight controls all showing green. So we're good. We are about to cross ZMR VOR, our last waypoint in our flight plan. We're going to turn right and start heading direct towards Madrid Barajas International Airport. Currently, we are 45 minutes in flight. Just tracking right along. Our block time is up to 1 hour 21 minutes. Take a quick look at our flight plan again. We are now 118 nautical miles from our destination. So hopefully we're going to get some descent guidance here very soon, because we've got to descend from 25,000 feet down quite a ways. To at least 5,000 feet, I would expect. And I have been on flights where ATC, they surprise you. You're flying at 16,000 feet, and all of a sudden, oh, you need to drop to 2,400 feet. I'm like, what? That is not going to happen. 16,000 feet to 2,400, and you want me to get lined up on the localizer. So, hopefully they're on top of things this time around. But always a concern when you're flying with FSX ATC. At least in my experience. If someone knows how to fix that, or if I'm doing something wrong in that regard, by all means, let me know, please. So looking at the navigation display, I can see our start of descent, according to the flight management computer, is about, what is that, 40 miles away? No, about 30 miles away. And closing. Can't see us at all through the clouds from the nearest tower. take a quick look at our distance again. So 92 nautical miles from our destination. And that's assuming that we were heading straight to the airport. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to get vectored around and lined up on whichever runway we get assigned. So while it feels like you're getting pretty close, you're still going to have some time to descend depending on how we get routed in. Unless ATC tells you to drop an interceptor localizer right away on this course, which not likely. Should be good. We might have to trim some of this footage because I didn't realize I was going to have so much lead time with getting my descent guidance from ATC. And in fact, we are...
Bravo Alpha 823 heavy. Descend and maintain 13,000.
There we go.
Descend and maintain 13,000. Bravo Alpha 823 heavy.
Looks like we're descending at 1,000 feet per minute. We'll see if ATC is okay with that. They may tell us to expedite our descent. Oh no, I'm dropping down even faster here. So we should be on a good clip down to 13,000 feet. Descending at 2,700 feet per minute. Sorry, I wanted to get my checklist in position so we can read it. Still waiting on our runway assignment. Once we get that, there's a number of things that we can do to prepare for landing. Still can't see us through the clouds yet from the nearest tower. Down through 20,000 feet, 19.6.
Bravo Alpha 823 heavy. You are 62 miles northwest. Turn right heading 145. Expect vectors ILS. Runway 33 left. Approach. Turn right heading 145. Expect vectors ILS. Runway 33 left. Approach. Bravo Alpha 823 heavy.
Alright, so we got our runway 33 left. We can get the information for 33 left from FSX. I've already captured that, but just to show you real quick, if we go out here to the airport, 33 left. ILS identifier is MAA with a frequency of 109.9 and an ILS heading of 325 degrees. Take a quick look at the temperature. Temperature is currently 51 degrees, and our barometer, our altimeter setting is going to be 29 or 902. Wind calm, broken clouds. We don't have any real wind to worry about because we're in fair weather, so that makes things a little easy. And we need this information to set up our flight management guidance system. So we are still descending down. We want to go down here to performance, go to the next phase and drop in our altimeter setting. We set 51 degrees Fahrenheit. I haven't done the math. I'm going to drop in 21 degrees Celsius. And then 0, for wind and direction, or direction and speed. And for 33 left, recall we were looking at information for the airport. So if we bring that back over here, runway, we're going to go with, it must be 32 left since I don't have a 33 left current. So 32 left has an elevation of 1933. So we're going to add 200 to that. So we're going to drop in 2133 for our baro, for our minimum. Should be good. So 2133. We just added 200 to the elevation of the runway. This is our baro. You can see that our approach speed is going to be 148, and our landing speed is going to be 143. We also want to get our radio navigation programmed in here real quick, so ILS approach is going to be MAA. And that's on 109.9, so it's the closest one, with a course heading of 325. So our radio navigation is now configured for us. Go back to our flight plan. We are 47 nautical miles from the airport, being directed in by ATC. And it's becoming evening time, and one thing that I find interesting, I thought I had set the flight for earlier in the day, and recall that we looked at that time, and apparently I was wrong. It's what was that, 5:20 something? So 5 p.m. in the afternoon, sun's starting to go down. Last direction from ATC was turn right heading 145 degrees. We are on a course heading of 145. We did descend through 13,000 feet, which was our guidance. We're hanging tight right there right now. We should be getting some additional guidance from ATC here momentarily.
Bravo Delta 823 heavy, turn right heading 175. Turn right heading 175, Bravo Delta 823 heavy.
Well, I couldn't have predicted that any better than I did.
Bravo Alpha 823 heavy, turn left heading 150.
Alright.
Turn left heading 150, Bravo Alpha 823 heavy.
Still at 13,000 feet, flying at about 290 knots. In the general vicinity of 34 nautical miles of the airport of Madrid, Spain. If we want, since it is starting to get dusk outside, getting dark outside, we can go ahead and turn on the backlit controls of our instrumentation just so we can see everything clearly. Once again, I want to double check my checklist. Make sure I'm not overlooking anything. So we do have our MCDU set for our descent approach. We don't need any speed brakes yet. Navigation accuracy, we are basically flying on a course heading. And we don't have any current VORs. Actually, we do. VOR2 is TAC, pointing off to our left here, 25 nautical miles, so that is tracking along with what we're seeing. In the airport, ILS just came online, 28 nautical miles away, further to our left, so that is tracking as well.
Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy, contact the top edge approach on 119.905. 119.905.
Do this handoff.
823 Heavy. Madrid Center, Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy, with you at 13,000. Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy, Madrid Center, Roger, altimeter 29992.
Still good to go. We're waiting on ATC. We're heading towards the airport. We're going to be lined up with runway 33 left. It is an ILS enabled runway, so we should be able to get hooked up with the localizer and have a fairly smooth straight in landing. That is provided I don't mess up, which, yeah, my landings are not the best in the world. It just takes one little thing to just distract me, or for me to miss a step, and who knows what the outcome will be. 22 nautical miles from the runway, ILS signal.
Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy, turn left heading 115. Turn left heading 115. Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy. You are 5 miles northeast. Turn left heading 195. Climb and maintain 15,000. Expect vectors visual. Runway 33 right approach. Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy. Turn right heading 145. 42554. Turn left heading 195. Descend and maintain 6,000.
Oh, wrong way.
Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy. Turn right heading 145. Descend and maintain 5,000. Turn right heading 145. Descend and maintain 5,000. Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy.
So,
Bravo Alpha Deep 23 Heavy. Contact the top end approach on 119.905.
So we're descending down. We're at 11.6, getting ready to go through 10,000 feet.
Roger. Altimeter 2992.
Getting ready to hit 10,000. I'm going to go up here and turn on our landing lights. And since it is dark out, I'm going to go ahead and put the wing light on as well, just make us a little more visible in the sky. To other aircraft, that is. Check my checklist here. Don't have my transition altitude. We'll assume it's going to be somewhere. No, this is probably not going to be accurate. So I'm going to monitor the PFD. When I get down to my barometric setting where I should come off of standard, it'll start to flash at me. We'll look for that here momentarily. Still descending down at a fairly slow rate. We slowed down there a little bit. Trying to control our speed as we want to drop to 250 knots under 10,000 feet. So far, ATC is not chirping at us to descend at an expedited rate. We are on the correct last course heading they gave us of 145. All looks good so far. We're below 10,000 feet. I'm going to put the seatbelt sign back on. It's 23 nautical miles from the runway. Probably going to want to slow down here soon. I'm going to start slowing the plane down as soon as we get down to 5,000 feet.
823 heavy. Turn left heading 085. Turn left heading 085. Bravo Alpha 823 heavy.
And I'm going to start to slow the plane down.
Alpha 823
So coming to 5,000 feet altitude, I just set my altimeter setting again back to barometer 29902. We should be leveling off here.
2,500.
2,500 already called out by RAS. We look like we're 23 nautical miles from the airport at this point.
Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy. Contact Madrid approach on 118.4. 118.4 for Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy. Madrid approach. Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy.
Gonna
2,500.
engage our first flap.
Roger. Altimeter 29902.
Flap 1 green.
Descend and maintain 4,200. Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy. You are 2 miles southeast. Turn left heading 355. Descend and maintain 5,000. Cleared ILS. Runway 33 left approach. Maintain 5,000 until established on the localizer. Contact Barajas Tower on 120.15. Turn left heading 355. Descend and maintain 5,000. Cleared ILS. Runway 33 left approach. Maintain 5,000 until established. Tower on 120.15. Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy.
Slowing the plane down a little bit more. We are clear to engage the localizer.
2 miles southeast. Inbound ILS. Runway 33 left approach. Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy. Barajas Tower. Fly straight in. Runway 33 left. Altimeter 29902.
33 left. We have our
runway 33
2,500.
Bravo Alpha 823 Heavy.
we have our pattern entry. So now we are attempting to engage the localizer. We want to switch out here to our turn on our ILS system too would be helpful. Now we don't appear to be on the correct course. Oh yes, we actually are. Hold on here. Yeah, we should be good. Localizer is off to our right. We're flying towards it at about 45-degree angle. Speed is down to 190 knots. We show that we are 17 nautical miles. It would appear that the localizer is coming to life.
$2,500.
No, something's not right here. We're not lined up right. ILS. Coming into the runway. 13. $25.
Traffic.
We have traffic warning. Localizer is coming to life. ILS is on. Localizer. Looks like we have engaged the localizer. We need to get the approach active as well. Approach active. This display is not accurate, which is throwing me off a little bit. Need to get our speed down. Gonna slow down here a little bit more. We're at flaps 2. I want to get my gear down. Our approach speed is 148. So flaps
2,500.
I'm looking at our VOR. This is correct here. I'm not sure. Our purple line here doesn't seem to be taking us towards the correct navigation point, so that's throwing me off here a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that I am on course for the correct runway. I want to slow down just a little bit more, come in at 148, so I've got my approach speed plugged in. We have engaged the glide slope, so we are descending towards the runway right now. Gear is down. I want to go to full flaps. I want to watch our speed.
Tower, Pacifica 2302, ready to go. Runway 33 left, IFR to Hoochcourt.
Pacifica 2302, cleared for takeoff. Runway 33 left.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 33 left, Pacifica 2302.
Bravo Alpha 823 heavy, cleared to land. Runway 33 left.
Okay, we have our landing clearance.
Cleared to land. Runway 33 left. Bravo Alpha 823 heavy.
We want to get our auto brakes engaged and get our automatic spoilers armed and ready. We should be good to go. We're approaching the runway. PAPI lights all look good. I'm going to get ready to take control of the aircraft here momentarily. I'll let the autopilot take us in a little bit closer before I do that. Everything looks good right now.
Climb.
1,000.
Climb. Clear of conflict.
I don't see any traffic, and I'm on final approach.
Tower, Pacifica
Approaching
149er,
33 right.
Runway 33 left, IFR to Lacey. Pacifica 149er, short. Runway 33 left, traffic is Airbus on final. Hold short, runway 33 left, Pacifica 149er.
Okay, so I'm going to take the aircraft at this point.
02. Contact Madrid departure on 124.025.
500.
025 for Pacifica 2302.
400. 300. 200 above.
Caution, taxiway. Caution, taxiway.
Minimum 100. 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard 10, 5.
Bravo Alpha 823.
What are you doing on the runway, you silly?
1.7. Pacifica 1.
Crash.